cool. I love it when it works the way it's supposed to. Good morning, everyone. I'm sure that there will be some sort of glitch because without it, I would not know what to do. I would think, what? Did I finally figure all of this out by the end of GenCon? That's just silly. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pop over to my event messaging to let people know that on GenCon that we are now live. Have you been able to participate in anything GenCon-ish? And I'm not sure if they can hear you, but we can sure see.
We'll find out. Yeah. Not really. It's been kind of weird. It's been a weird weekend.
Yeah, it has been. I definitely feel like I am now part of my chair.
Right.
My chiropractor will probably be very angry with me. Let's see, and I'm just going to remind everybody that you can see us on 524, Facebook and Twitch, and now on YouTube Live. Live now. Well, we have people hopefully joining us, which I have not had a chance to open up our chat yet, but you never know. There might be some people awake. Man, I did not want to be awake today.
Yeah, that's a whole mood.
Today is a mood. Yeah. I was trying to get ready, and I'm like, I should do my hair all nice. But no. My hair is an explosion. And you haven't even got to see it yet because I turned off my cam. You guys are just going to be like, whoa, Rachel, you should not be in public. But, all right, I'm going to go ahead and close this down. Looks like we have a few. Good morning. Say good morning, everyone. I want to see who's hanging out. I think that this is my second coffee, if I remember correctly how my day has gone.
So good to caffeinate?
Yes, caffeinate. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and pull over to the... Ooh, Joe's here. Hello, Joe. Joe's amazing. He is my good friend. Let's switch over and see our beautiful faces. Oh, wow. Wow. You look stunning, Nathan. I look a hot mess, but it is last day of GenCon, so I assume that we're all going to be very gentle. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's see what we want to chat about. I do like my nice chill music that keeps me calm. Can everybody hear? Say hello, Nathan. Let's see if we can hear your voice.
Hey, everybody. Let's go.
Hey, I've got levels. Joe, do you hear him? Joe's gonna help me out while I sip my coffee. Man. It has been a very interesting few days, Nathan. I have been on many, many live streams. And it has been really interesting to see how GenCon online unfolded. I mean, there was ways to connect through multiple platforms, I don't know if you looked on the GenCon website to see the Looking Glass. The Looking Glass is their version of the exhibit hall. And when you first open it, it basically looks like... I don't know how to describe it. I think of it like as a globe, but it's not. It's just like a cloud. It's like, you know, those word clouds that have bigger ones for certain, like, more well-known things or people who paid more, and then little tiny ones for like little... It just is like... It looks kind of like a star cluster. And it's way interesting.
Cool.
I'm gonna have to show people later. I have just been fascinated to see what an online convention looks like. Honestly, it's
kind of a different animal.
Very, very different than anything I've ever participated in. And it's the first one because I know that there's been 3 or 4 that have already been happening. But no, not. I have not been able to participate. So the reason we have Nathan here and his cattail.
And his cattail. My little pal up with me, Seamus.
Hi, Seamus. Denna is, I think, over on the couch being angry at me for ignoring her for 4 days. Well, Nathan is here because a few moons ago, he ran a Kickstarter, and I backed that Kickstarter because it was a mint tin. And it was so cool because you had such a fun... I loved your voice in it. I could hear the humor, and I could hear like how real of a person you are, and I loved that you had your cat blessing tier, and I mean there was just so many quirky things, and I have very quirky humor.
Nice, yeah.
yes, and so and James is here. He is up bright and early for a Pacific time zone guy, but I'm grateful to have him here. And I thought it was really, really neat that you were able to handle that entire thing personally. Like, you busted that out. Who needs manufacturing, man? You just, like, brought it all in. Somebody wants your coffee.
Yeah, he's like, I don't think you want this, buddy.
Oh, I mean, lap. I would.
Yeah, that was a project, getting all that together by hand.
Yeah, so I can't quite remember. You stickered it. You stickered it. That's a word. You stickered it, right?
Yep, I did. I did like basically like I hand labeled the front and back of each tin, so that's a lot of work just in and of itself to make sure those were on as
nicely as you could.
Yeah, make them, like, without messing them up too much.
Man, I feel that on a cellular level because I have done that many times over the years before the Game Crafter started doing their printing of tins. I was like, yes. That's how you did prototypes. That's how you, yeah, absolutely. And
I started that right after.
Yeah, of course. Thanks,
I wish
JT.
that would have been an option. Yeah.
Come on.
That's great. That's a cool option.
And I don't know, did you watch? I had an interview with him the other day, and he was showing they've developed a rule sheet fold out that now fits into it as well. Nice. As because it's like accordion fold, but the size of the cards, so it's going to be a very interesting graphic type thing to fit everything in. But he also did something like that makes a board that folds in.
Oh wow! Okay, so now you have like my attention doubly now.
Board.
So I'm like looking for more things to fit in the tins to do stuff with.
Yes. He was showing me that there was one that folded out, and then of course had a small diamond in the middle from the cut. But then they did another iteration that had it slightly differently die cut so that it would actually connect in the middle of the board of the 4. So I'm excited. I have never even thought about doing a board in a tin. So
it's gonna be my next project.
Yeah.
What can I fit in?
And we even talked about the fact that we are obviously slightly. Stop green screen. Let me show my stuff. Okay. So this is the regular size, and this is what our size is. And we talked about how we're going to be supplying the Game Crafter with that size, and then hosting a contest to start bringing that in also. So that'll be real cool. I am pumped. Of course, you knew that because you were in our epic secret Zoom meeting from the Unexpected Treasure Hunt, and where I got to give away some of those cool things.
It's a lot of fun.
Yes, that was really cool. Man, I love that. So to touch on the Blessed Dark, I can swap over to the computer here so I can show you guys a little bit. I'm gonna start at the Board Game Geek entry that we have. And what we have here is some great, gosh, I love it. The thematic nature. Gosh, it was gorgeous. So, casting rituals by candlelight. I like that.
That was actually someone sent that in as like a fan.
Oh,
like that's way cool. I don't know why I didn't think of doing something cool like that when I was actually.
Bailey, she is doing some cool little things, and she loves to cosplay. So she put together something for some promo promo imaging that looks kind of like this. It's gonna be so cool.
Lovely.
And then we've got these fantastic pictures here that show the different actions that you can do. I love the little red cubes, and I'm hoping that we can do some cool little blood droplets. That may be a stretch goal. We'll see. I haven't figured that out yet. And this will be coming to Kickstarter. We're just not quite ready to decide when yet. We've still got some projects that are needing to get on the water, so I think that once that gets figured out, we will be able to announce.
Exciting. I'm excited to have this game out in the wild properly.
Yes.
I think it was what, 600 or 700, no, about 750 backers roughly, but I think the number of actual copies I made was around 500-600, I guess, by hand. Maybe I don't really remember the exact number.
Yeah, because you always have to deal with drop pledges and things like that. Yeah. But this was not anything that you ever thought was gonna. This was like a one and done where you weren't going to need to deal with distribution and that stuff like that, unless it of course blew up, and that is the dream, but not always the reality. So, to look at the Kickstarter here, it shows here, and I always have these. Did you know that you can have all of these little extensions on your Kickstarter page? So it shows like on Backer Tracker and also Bigger Cake, and I got Kick Track. Like I'm all data when it comes to Kickstarter. I'm like I'm watching everything. But yeah, 750 backers. You raised $16,000 out of a $2,500 goal. And I got it, and I've told him before we first played it in church. Because I wasn't paying attention, like whatever, and I really don't care. It's fine. Oh, somebody is joining us on Twitch. How cool. And so basically, to explain the Blessed Dark, it's for 2 to 4 players. It's a 15 to 30 minute game, and because of the horror theme and the slightly more intense content, it's probably gonna be 13 plus, but we always put 13 plus on ours anyways, because then you're not dealing with all of the toy restrictions and laws that you have to deal with. So and you were also only able only wanted to deal with physical copies going to the US, because it is a whole different ball game to get it out globally.
Yeah, it's a big project to do that.
Yes, and Edo took a look at it, Masters of Boredom, so you can find those on YouTube if you want to see more of what the reviews looked like. And you did a great job of showing off all the components on here. This made my day. When I read this stretch goals, it was everything to me, because I very much agree with this. No bad cue, squirt bottle sounds. You are definitely a cat owner.
Yep. The cats definitely had a big influence on my campaign in terms of like, how can I make this fun? And also, I'm a crazy cat lady, basically, at heart. So
yeah, totally. I have my cat, and I was like, they just know the sound now. I don't have to actually get out the squirt bottle. But I love that you called it a lean, mean micro campaign, because if you add all these other things that deals with the restriction of the size of the tin. You can't add a whole lot when you have this size of product, and you were really able to focus on doing what you did really, really well. And the cat blessing tier. Now, so this is Seamus, and this is Nuggy.
Yes, they're my children.
Aww, that's amazing.
Very sweet.
All right.
And Naughty, actually, Seamus is playing out. He was trying to get some dice and cause a mess, so I had to distract him with some paper towel crinkle. So Chris has joined us, and he is questioning the cat blessing. So I'm going to go back and explain this, because we've touched on it before, but the cat blessing tier. Tell us about the cat blessing tier, Nathan. He has a new kitten, so he needs to understand what this is. Lovely. Yeah, so I wanted to do some kind of additional fun thing for the project, and rather than having to add like additional add-ons or more physical things to weave into the campaign, I thought it'd be fun to do something that didn't really require me to add more, but was a nice little personal touch. Because I am very much like a cat person, and my cats are basically my kids. I thought it'd be really fun to kind of incorporate them into the campaign in a fun way that was kind of cute and silly. So basically, for folks for other fellow like cat lovers who wanted to have that little extra touch, I decided to have my cats bless the copies that were sent out for people who wanted to back at just a little bit higher of a tier for
just to support a designer.
Like,
I mean,
this is a little hard. Extra. Yeah, a little extra helps, because like sometimes Kickstarter there's overages or like there's issues with shipping, and I have to like eat that out of pocket. So I was like, building a little bit of a buffer was kind of a nice idea, and that was a fun way to do it. And also the cats had a lot of fun getting the extra attention, because trying to wrangle them and like into like okay guys, like presenting tins and like having them decide what they're gonna do about it, because after like what was it? I think it was 30, 40, 50 tins, I think. There was a lot of people that seemed interested in that.
That's
the cats
great.
Were kind of got in the routine of like, okay, well, Daddy's gonna hand this to me. I'm gonna kind of snuggle it or sniff it or do something with it and take a picture. So I had to kind of like number them and manage exactly, like make sure I'm like giving like each tin that is blessed, but with a specific picture, make sure it goes to the right person that I'm intending to give it to. So that was a little bit of like a juggling act, but they had a lot of fun with it. They got more.
I mean, that's the amazing part of being a real true creator that is in Kickstarter, because you really are thinking of each and every one of the backers, because they all matter, and you're following through. That's awesome. I love it.
People seem to really like the pictures of the cat.
That's so great.
It just made me feel nice, because to share pictures of my kids.
Yeah. I actually used to we used to do that a lot with Sonic, our hedgehog. Oh. He was kind of our Mintworks and Mint Delivery mascot. So Mr. Charity Board Gamer, by the way, his name is Chris Goodlet. He's an amazing person, and I'm actually repping him today. This is my Charity Board Gamer shirt, because I thought, hey, what am I going to wear today? I'm going with some hot pink eyeshadow, and yeah, I'm doing this. This is something that he put together, actually. He spotlights various charities and puts this in his online store, and he donates a certain percentage to the charity that it's representing. He has a lot of different designs and stuff, and this one is actually I bought it to support our local one, the Great Plains Gaming Project that I'm involved in, and it was really, really cool that he was willing to do that for us. So when I went on his show, that was my charity of choice. We're trying to get more people in to experience the cognitive and social benefits of board gaming in the Lincoln, Nebraska, or Great Plains area, as you know, we'll eventually be able to reach out and touch. But it's really, really cool what Chris is doing. So the game is called The Blessed Dark, and we have kind of touched on it a little bit. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull up the how to play so that you guys can kind of see what this is. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my chill morning jams so that you guys can hear. And I'm going to hope that you can hear this. If you don't hear it, Nathan, just know that it's playing, and we'll chat about it after.
Sure, there's a slight delay on the video, so I'll kind of keep an eye on things.
Cool. All right.
The Blessed Dark is a card game for 2 to 4 players where you play as cultists vying for the favor of the Ancient Ones. By gathering blood, completing rituals, casting spells, and summoning demons, you will sow the seeds of darkness in a bid to become the Chosen. The goal of the Blessed Dark is to be the cultist with the most favor by the time the last card is drawn from the spell deck. Setup only takes a quick second, so we're going to just dive right in. The first thing you should do is find a card labeled the Dark One and remove it from the deck. This is a special demon that can be summoned or stolen by any player who rolls 3 of a kind and plays all of their blood. Set the special card aside in view of everyone, then shuffle the remaining spell cards, set the deck aside, and leave room for a discard pile. Now deal 3 cards to each player. All players will now look at their hand and choose 1 spell card to immediately play face up in their grimoire before the game starts. Also, give each player 2 blood tokens and set the remaining blood tokens aside to form the blood pool. Then, set the 3 ritual dice aside, choose a starting player, and you're pretty much ready to go. The first player will take their turn and then play continues clockwise. In the Blessed Dark, turns are generally pretty straightforward and they move very quickly. On your turn, you can choose to do any one of the following 5 actions. You can draw a spell card and add it to your hand, keeping in mind that there's a 5-card hand limit. You can draw 2 blood tokens from the blood pool if any blood is available. You can choose a card from your hand to add it to your grimoire by placing it on the table in front of you. You can spend a turn to refresh all of their exhausted spells by turning them back to their original vertical orientation. And then the final possible action you can take during your turn is conduct a ritual, by rolling the 3 ritual dice up to 3 attempts and casting a legal spell of your choice from your grimoire based on the roll results. And that's pretty much it. Those 5 actions are the core of the game. Now I'm going to briefly walk you through the other main mechanics that add depth and strategy to the simple gameplay. As rounds progress, you'll begin placing more and more spells in your grimoire. In order to cast any of these spells, though, you'll first need to conduct a ritual. This entails rolling the 3 ritual dice and then determining if the results allow you to successfully cast any of the spells that you have already placed in your grimoire. So the more spell cards you place over time, the more options you will potentially have each time you conduct a ritual. So to actually conduct a ritual, you're going to roll the 3 dice and cast any single spell you're able to based on the roll by assigning dice to the spell and paying the blood cost if applicable. Dice should only be assigned when you have met the criteria to complete a spell. If you cannot or choose not to cast a spell on the first roll attempt, you may choose to re-roll any of the dice or all of the dice up to twice per ritual, so you have a total of 3 roll attempts during a ritual. Only 1 spell can be triggered during a ritual, so once you do cast a spell, you forfeit any further rolls that turn. If you're unable to cast any spells, or you choose not to trigger any spells after 3 roll attempts, the ritual fails, your turn ends, and play continues. But to give you a little more control over your casting abilities, rituals also have a blood modifier mechanic. You may spend extra blood to increase or decrease the value of a dice by 1 point for each blood you spend. More than 1 blood can be spent in this way, and more than 1 dice can be influenced in this manner per ritual. But keep in mind though that many spells also require blood as part of their casting costs. So you want to make sure that you have enough blood to actually complete the spell you want to trigger in addition to any modifiers you're going to use by spending blood up or down to influence dice. Spells in the Blessed Dark do a variety of things, including summoning demons, banishing opponents' demons, swapping cards with your opponents, destroying cards, gaining extra blood, and a lot more. When you do cast a spell during a successful ritual, you must pay any blood requirements, resolve any effects, and then exhaust the spell by turning the card sideways. Exhausted spells may not be cast again until a player spends a whole turn to refresh their spells. And when you're refreshing your spells, turn all of your exhausted spell cards, aside from any summoned demons, back to their original vertical orientation. There is one exception though. Any card that has the skull icon instead of the exhaust symbol goes directly to the graveyard or discard pile once it's cast and resolved. Demons are the primary way to gain favor in the Blessed Dark, and they're summoned by completing lesser and greater demon summoning spells. Once summoned by a successful ritual, demon spells remain exhausted for the rest of the game unless they are banished. They're no longer considered spells once they've actually been summoned. When you summon a demon, exhaust it and set it aside next to your grimoire to indicate that it has actually been summoned. And it's worth noting that demons can only be summoned by completing their dice rolls and playing their blood requirements during a ritual. Spells that would simply exhaust an unsummoned demon do not count as summoning it. The main benefit of demons is that they earn you favor that is scored at the end of the game. They can be taken out of play, however, by certain spells. The first player to roll 3 of a kind during a ritual may choose to sacrifice all of their blood to summon the Dark One, but they must have at least 1 blood in order to summon it. And when you summon the Dark One, it does count as the one spell that you may cast during a ritual. If you succeed, pay all of your blood, move the Dark One card over by any summoned demons you have next to your grimoire, and then exhaust it. The Dark One is immune to all spells, and it cannot be removed from play once it's summoned. However, if any subsequent players then roll 3 of a kind and have blood to sacrifice, they may steal the Dark One for themselves. Aside from scoring additional favor, there is one additional perk of having the Dark One in your control. So if you've already summoned and currently have control of the Dark One, and then you roll 3 of a kind again, you may cast an unexhausted spell for free, ignoring the roll numbers and the blood costs, and this counts as the one spell that you may cast during a ritual. So that is an additional perk of having the Dark One in your control. The game ends immediately when the last card is drawn from the deck. The player who draws the last card may choose to immediately add it to their grimoire, or just keep it in their hand, but no further actions can be taken. And then once you're wrapped up, you move on to scoring. Scoring is pretty straightforward. At the end of the game, each player will earn favor as follows. You gain 1 favor for each spell that is currently placed in your grimoire, but you don't count any unsummoned demon spells. You gain any additional favor from your demons that have been successfully summoned and remain in play. And then you subtract 2 favor for each demon summoning spell you have in your grimoire that remains unsummoned by the end of the game. And that's the Blessed Dark. Thanks so much for watching.
And that was a fantastic... I mean, that was probably one of the best how-to-plays. Well-spoken, easy to follow. I loved your everything. So, that was great. I do want to pop back over here, and a lot of people want to know what kind of mechanisms are in these. Obviously, you got a lot of dice to roll. Yeah. You've got the hand management, and then the 2 sort of controversial mechanisms that can either push or pull a specific audience to a game are push your luck and take that. So yes. Tell me what went into that, and why do you think it's key to this game?
Sure. I really enjoy, I grew up playing a lot of like Magic the Gathering, and I'd like, let's think about the games off the top of my head that do a lot of push your luck and or take that. Like take that game's kind of where sort of my bread and butter starting off, but I've gravitated away from that in terms of other designs. But I like that kind of player interaction when you have players that are also into that. It's like if you can find people to play with, those games can be really fun and dynamic and back and forth. And a lot of the games I've played with the Blessed Dark usually are with folks who also enjoy that, so that's been really fun. I think the push your luck element is also like a really key component, and putting those 2 together puts a lot of like interesting tension on like the turn-to-turn gameplay and how players interact. I'm a big fan of Yahtzee, even this is a very straight up old school game. Like I just love rolling dice and seeing like can I get the configurations I need. So that certainly was an inspiration for some of the dice rolling elements. But like most dice rolling games, like randomness is, it's like all chance based. So having the blood modifier that gives players a little bit more control over influencing, it doesn't give them a 100% chance they're going to get everything every time when they try to do a ritual or cast a spell. It gives them a little more control so that more frequently they can try to do what they want to do. However, the take that elements where players can kind of counter each other a little bit with their abilities makes that feel less like, I'm not sure, like I guess it feels a little more like flexible and kind of unpredictable. And I think that mix of unpredictability plus like seeing what people's different strategies are makes the game really tense and intense, and like has a nice tension that doesn't feel negative. It feels like there's kind of a nice like, oh, I don't know what they're gonna do, but I kind of see what's happening, so let's play around with that. And, I'm also a big fan of tableau building and hand management in terms of just like building out something and seeing what you can do with that once you've built it. And those are kind of like key elements of playing the game. So between the dice rolling, the take that, and the take that elements, it's kind of an integral part of the game, but you can be kind of gentle with it or really jerky depending on how you want to play. But I think a lot of people, the testing I've done and people's feedback's that's been kind of a really fun part of seeing those twists and turns about like building your tableau, trying to get demons in play to like get points, but then also seeing what other people are going to do in terms of trying to influence your blood supply to see if they can kind of do different things or counteract your demons or swap cards from your tableau and do different sort of sneaky strategies to kind of turn the tables a lot.
Awesome. Since we can be more up here, and I've been kind of watching the comments, and it was really cool to see as people were processing what they were learning about the game. They were talking about how blood seems to be pretty key, and I of course said it's hard to live without. And a Panic also was saying that a Bloody Mary sounds really good right now. And
yeah.
I mean, can you imagine the amazing themed game night that you could do with something like this, and then like Horrified or something like, oh man, I see an entire Halloween game night materializing.
That's my favorite time of year. Unfortunately, this year it's a little more complicated, but I do really love spooky things and Halloween.
Right. It's James was asking, saying that the game is pretty catchy, and asked if you had any left to sell, or if you went ahead and just bought what you had and then fulfilled.
Yeah, no, I definitely I had materials to make extra copies, and most of those got used up in terms of like replacing damaged stuff during shipping, and so I have no more copies available until this goes to Kickstarter again.
Right. This is one of the cool things, because I've never done this before. Like, this is a pre-published game, self-published game that I fell in love with and didn't think that it had the audience it deserved, and that's why I approached Nathan and I said, hey, I love your game. Would you be open to talking about us publishing it for you? And I was really excited that you were open to that, because some people are like, no, I want to do my own thing, but I'm really excited to have a partnership with somebody who knows what they're doing. They've been through this. They have a passion for the game that they have made, and it's just a really great situation to work with.
I'm really excited working with you too. I'm a big fan of the Mint 10 games you folks have put out. I have a handful of them, and they're definitely an inspiration in terms of like fitting thing. What can you fit in a little 10? Like,
yeah,
and it's fun to see what kind of dynamics you can build into a game with that.
Absolutely. Let's see. Terry is saying that he finds that Take That so much can make or break or ruin a game depending on how it's implemented. And so what would you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, that's totally fair. A lot of the cards, like with a lot of Take That games where it's like you're directly attacking someone, in this it's more of like manipulating what's happening in the playing field. Like there are certainly spells that can take out other people's demons out of play, which can be, that depending on how that plays out, it'll be interesting to see how people respond to that. But most of the abilities are balanced on the cards, where there's a mix of utilities. Like the Take That element is not super strong in terms of like, sorry, my cat's totally trying to eat my USB. Hey, bud. He's always trying to get into stuff while I'm on the stream. So yeah, the Take That stuff is it feels gentler than it is implemented in some other games. Like I'm a big fan of a game called Time Barons, which is super nasty Take That, and like that's the only game that my brother and I have played where we just like I had to like leave the table after like losing 12 games in a row because he just crushed me every time. This is a little bit more dynamic because sometimes, especially with the Blessed Dark, if you focus on doing Take That element, if you're trying to spend more time messing with other players, it can open you up to actually getting messed with more. So there's this weird like balance of like making maybe once in a while choosing to manipulate or impact other people's tableaus or blood supply or whatever, or swap their cards out with yours can kind of like mess up their strategy, and that can be fun to kind of pivot off of, either both as the person who's like trying to cause that havoc, but also the person who's just had their strategy kind of manipulated, like, oh, now I can like go in a different direction. But a lot of it is I try to balance the Take That in the games where I have it where it's much more of a like strategic choice, but it's not the obvious choice every time. Like sometimes you really need to focus on getting your own cards out. But I've seen players completely go full aggro and just like spend all their time doing other things. And like you can also, there are some reversals you can do from that. But I think it's kind of a one piece of the puzzle. And if you focus, like with most games, if you focus only on one strategy, it kind of can backfire on you, depending on how many people you're playing with and what they decide to do. But yeah, I think it's more of a gentle take that than some games I've played for sure. And I tend to prefer that more of like, hey, here's an option. It's not the focus of the game. The focus of the game is more like, what can you build in your tableau, and like, how can you get your scoring system built? But it definitely is a pretty key component in some aspects. So it's sort of like a balance, basically.
I think that it probably increases the investment of the player in the game. Like you want to do something instead of just kind of be as a passive player. One of the things that Panic was saying is, are we making any changes to it going forward? I have not seen the finals yet. They are actually in progress of being, we're making the prototypes at the Game Crafter right now. And those will be going out to reviewers here, or previewers here in the next few weeks, as we decide to figure out when we're going to actually do the launch. It was just so well made that we didn't have a lot of work to do. And that's one of the things that we look for when we take a design is, if it looks good, I don't fix what's not broken. It has a few improvements that we could do to components. It is possible that we could add some small amounts of content or things like that to for like promos or something like that. We're still in that process, but I think that it's beautiful. I think that I was very impressed by the game, and that's why I reached out to him to see if he was open to doing this with us, and I'm really glad he was. The thing that's going to be a little bit tough for my audience is we live in fluffy Mintworks land, and Mintopia is not very scary. I mean, it got a little scary during Mint Cooperative and we had supervillains, but really, how scared of Nick O'Teen can you be, or Gingivitis? So this is a different world for 524 to be going into, and it can be polarizing to go with horror. But I mean, if a game is good, a game is good. Cultist Mort, his breath is fantastic. Oh, thank you, Terry. I think that there is room for a lot of different audiences in in the world, and if a game is good, and the theme is well done and well executed, my mother may not be happy with me, but I'm still going to make a great game. And that's okay. I'm really excited to see how this goes, and it's going to be presented with several different games at the same time. So people will have their choices if they're wanting to go into. Yes, I'm talking about the Blessed Dark, Derek. Heck yes, I am. The Blessed Dark horror, we're gonna end up with Starforge for our space and 4X-y kind of look. And yes, Derek is just waking up. He's Pacific, I believe, or are you guys Mountain right now? They're in Arizona, so who knows what their current time zone is. And then we'll have Castle Siege, which is gonna be the fantasy end. So we're really gonna be offering a full theme buffet in this next Kickstarter. So it will be really interesting to see where our audience goes with that. We'll still have the same amazing mint tins, and we're still going to have the same basic commitment to time. These probably will not have solo modes unless we do some major development in the future. But I think that these really play to not having solo mode. So we will see. We've got lots of thought processes yet to go through before we launch. But it's been really cool to have you guys come. They played it last weekend. Cat, do you know who Cat Ryder is? Nathan Gloryhound?
I'm not sure.
She is a content creator that
cool.
Streams awesome content also. She also plays with her hair color all the time. She FaceTimed me the other day and we were talking hair. It was great. Anyways, and I want to probably end with the Free Frost over in Twitch is saying Nathan's game is fast, fun, easy to learn. My non-gamer wife easily picked it up. Our 6 cats demanded the cat blessing naturally back in the Kickstarter. And I'm glad to see its success continue with 524. And I think that is a great summary right there. I'm really pumped. So, yeah. Thank you so much for giving me a little bit of your Sunday morning. I know that this has been an odd GenCon to feel like people can... Like, normally you just shut down and you're in indie and you don't do anything else. This is what you do. But a lot of people had, regular life continuing. I mean, I have become one with my chair. But everybody else has other lives. So I'm going to let you get on with your day. And I actually, I'm going to probably pop to my Be Right Back screen while I get Miss Debbie Moynihan, who is waiting in my waiting room for Zoom to come on and talk about the Shark Tank episode that we're going to be doing this afternoon for some designer pitches. So, bye, sir.
Thanks so much.
Yep. And...
Yeah, that was awesome. Cool. Awesome. Thank you, I appreciate it. It's really awesome. I'm actually looking forward to doing more stuff down the road at some point. Nice. A lot of work. Well, I'm really excited. I can't wait to see, I'm really excited to see how things go with everything. If you need a hand too on my end, I do have mailing lists and people I can reach out to. Maybe we can touch base at some point soon about getting the word out in different ways. If you want me to kind of tap into some of the people who are already kind of waiting to see what's happening with you. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of people that wanted to get copies outside of the US and couldn't. And some even shipped them to weird other places to get them. And folks who maybe want a more premium version because the tins I'm sure will wear out on their own hand labels. So. Anyway, I won't keep you. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Hi, can you hear me? Are we live? Oh, okay. I was just messaging you. I was like, is this actually in an hour? Not right now, because I was like, oh, maybe I'm an hour early. Can they hear me? Anyways, it's okay if they hear me. I don't care. I was just wondering, you know.
Talk? Heck yes. I mean, if I am not messing up a stream, am I actually even living? Too funny. Derek, we can hear you. I told you, Derek, your wife is way better at this than me. She's like a complete whiz. But let's see here. Do you see the cool shark stuff behind us? Are you able to see, Debbie?
I can't see anything. I just see your name in a black box.
Oh, well, yeah, because I didn't really want... Oh, wait, I need to... Hang on, I gotta fix that. I'm not even on the...
Well, if I can't see it, as long as you tell me when I'm... Am I live now?
You're live!
Oh, hi, everyone.
Hang
Yeah,
on.
as long as I know when I'm live, that's nice. But yeah, it doesn't appear like I'm live from my view, but that's fine.
No, you just gotta go to like the Twitch channel and then shut off the sound so that you can see. I apparently am not hanging out. I'm invisible. So let me fix that real quick. Because I forgot to add my source back, apparently. If I do something correctly, I don't even know how I'm surviving. Okay, cool. Now look, no, I'm here. I am alive and here. Cool. Okay. Now, invisible Rachel again. Yeah, Panic was watching last night and he's like, that's so fun. All right, so now you can see we've got sharks behind us, Debbie. It's pretty amazing. No more.
Okay, now I'm on the Twitch channel, but let me mute my sound.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, now I can see us.
Aren't we great? We've got all this in the scary sounds. And I love it. I don't know if you can hear the sounds, but we sound real creepy. I've got it. I titled it "Interview Shark Music," so we're scary. So, what are we doing this afternoon, Debbie?
I don't know. What do you feel like doing today?
I think maybe we should hear some pitches and have some fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Today we are running, I'm the moderator of Shark Tank. There's a lot of game designers out there that dream of being published by a publisher. And I love when I meet one and they're super excited. They've never talked to a publisher before. So I went to the Tabletop Network event at GenCon last year, and it was super fun. It was an awesome event. It was an event intended to get game designers together, and I'm trying to learn more about the game design process, and we're always looking for, additional games for our portfolio as well. But at the last minute, someone said, hey, do you want to, jump on this panel? We're going to do sort of like a Shark Tank type event, and you're going to give feedback to game designers. And I thought it was really fun. It was a great opportunity it was very spontaneous. The game designers just lined up and they stood up and they pitched their games to a few of us on a panel. It was Martin Wallace, Stephen Bonacore was on there with me. And, we just gave off the cuff feedback, super fun. but gave them some insight into what kind of questions publishers might ask them when they're in a formal game submission process. So this is a couple things. One is to give game designers some practice in practicing their pitch. And even though we call it Shark Tank, okay, maybe some of the people will be mean. I don't know. I can't speak to how the panelists will act, but generally I think people are going to be very nice and give super helpful feedback to the designers. We call it Shark Tank kind of facetiously.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, I'm taking it totally seriously, and I'm going to be like, I'm out.
Rachel's going to crush your dreams.
I can dream crush. Oh my gosh. It's going to be fun. I'm a friend of mine. He got picked up for a pitch at Ravensburger, and so I took some time with another publisher, and we zoomed with him and kind of listened to his pitch, took some notes, and then we're like, okay, this is where you need to drop it. This is where you, like, I need to know, like, when you start talking, how many components am I thinking about? How many, like, are you going to sell me something, like, try to get me to make, like, something with 15 timers? Like sand timers, which I have been pitched before, and I love the idea. I've seen
that game too.
Yes, everybody has seen that game because it is really interesting.
Really cool, but yeah, the cost of making so many sand timers is a little prohibitive.
Exactly. I admire the tenacity of that designer, and he makes the rounds, and I'm so impressed. I think on Facebook he's Joe Spacetime, but he's a really pleasant guy, and that's a great pitch. But man, 15 sand timers. I mean, we're not exactly Stonemaier with the sand timer world going right now. So like, I think it's gonna be interesting. I popped into a practice session, and it was cool to meet. There's like a mother and son combo that they've been doing lots of making lots of games, and I think that's a really cool way to connect with your family. You have a mother-son thing going there too with in your family, and I think.
And I was like, do you guys want me to say that?
I know.
She's talking about a practice session for the Shark Tank that we did just to test out how it will work. And I asked them, is it okay for me to say your mother and son? Because my son would not want me to mention that.
No, mom, we don't know each other. No.
I said it was okay.
That's great. Yeah, I did a game show the other day, and McKenna came on with me, my oldest daughter, and it was Justin and I and McKenna, and the game show moderator asked, so McKenna, how do you know the people that you're sitting next to? And she handled it so well. She was like, well, about 7 years ago, I got adopted, and sometimes I see them around the house. Oh, and by the way, they're my parents. So it was, I loved that she was so cheeky. I was very proud. So, I think that this is going to be at 1:00 today, EST. And it's open to everyone, so it's technically on the GenCon event schedule, but it's unlimited ticketing, so you could just go. You can either sign up, or you can go to twitch.tv/WhiteWizardGames. And who is going to be on there as on the judging panel?
We have a really cool panel. I just want to mention that when Rachel says we have unlimited attendance, that's to attend and watch. We don't have any additional designer slots available. So, but we will have future events. I'll put a link in about a future event that we have coming up. And if people like these, we can keep doing them at conventions. I think you'll like it. Our panel is awesome. I'm super excited. So there's me and Rachel. I'm moderating. I'm the CEO of White Wizard Games. Rachel is on the panel, and I think you guys all know her. And then we also have Rob Doherty, CEO of White Wizard Games. He is seasoned game designer, seasoned publisher. He's designed Star Realms, Ascension, and many other games. And he had multiple game companies before White Wizard Games as well. And,
I heard he's decent at Magic.
A what?
I heard he's decent at Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, he played a little bit of Magic. He's a Magic the Gathering Hall of Famer. So he's pretty experienced at Magic. He first started working with game publishing companies. I learned this because he just did a Twitch stream the other day on Stoneblade's Twitch channel for the 10-year Ascension anniversary, and they were talking about their history getting into gaming. It was really fascinating. I recommend that stream. They were hired by Upper Deck to like try to break a game they were working on because they were competitive professional players, and that's one of the first. Rob had already had been working on game designs and things, and was already in the business. But in terms of Justin and some of the others getting involved with other game publishers, so it's pretty fun listening to that, because highly competitive professional players are really good at breaking games. They find, they're always good at finding that little sneaky way that you can win every time. And those are the kind of people that are great to do development on games. So, Rob also, of course, does a lot of development and tries to break our game designs. And one of the things we do when we do bring in designs from other outside game designers is we do some additional development on them in-house. So he's really good at that. And we have a few other awesome people. We have Carla Kopp from Weird Draft Games. I'm hoping she's awesome. I have some interest in game design, and I got chatting with her when we bumped into each other at she was hosting a little gathering in the lobby of a hotel to get designers together at GenCon, actually last year. So I just kind of got to know her last year, and she had her little game design kit that she carries with her everywhere. It's like a bunch of like boxes and bags of components and pencils and slips of paper that anytime she gets an idea, she can like whip up a game. So she's into, game design and game publishing, and Weird Giraffe she's owns Weird Giraffe and also co-owner of Galactic Raptor Games as well. And
she does some Google Meet kind of board game design chats too over somewhere. Yeah.
She has a Discord channel. So she does like a daily, I think every day. One of the awesome things she's done during the quarantine I think it's daily. She does daily game design chats. Unfortunately, like I'm too busy sort of running the back end of the business at White Wizard Games. I can't attend those on a daily basis, but she's also really active in the Board Game Broads group, which I'm in, which is mostly game designers, and she's a super fun. I know she's going to be great on the panel.
She's even cutthroat.
Library is one of her games that I have behind me here somewhere.
Yep. Tumbletown just funded too. And,
Tumbletown. War and Right it might still be on Kickstarter.
I think it just funded.
Probably available for late backing, as most Kickstarters are. That was a Roll and Write with animal themes. She has really cool themes, like really unique themes in her games, and so does the other panelist, North Star Games, Dominic from North Star Games, who also is a game designer and a company founder and owner. I really like that. We have several people that are game designers as well as owners of publishing companies and decision makers on what games they will publish, because they understand what it's like to, have that design and have to show it to someone and, get feedback and, hope that someone, also believes that your game is totally awesome.
Right. So. Right. Yeah. And they did things like Evolution. They did anything from like Evolution all the way to like Happy Salmon. Like they've got a huge catalog that I think that one of the things we were talking about earlier today is having all of these different publishers that are going to be on this panel is just showing you that it might not, whatever you're pitching might not work for that publisher, but do your homework, do your research, because there are others that it could fit in their line. And we all kind of talk too. So like if I see something and I'm like, man, that would be a perfect fit for Debbie, I'm going to go ahead and let her know. And that happens all the time. It's just putting yourself out there, being open and willing to hear the things that we have to say, because we have some experience behind that. And we also know our markets really well. So just be willing to come with an open mind and show us what you got.
Yeah, one of my favorite games is from North Star. It's called Dude. And actually, as a matter of fact, like we were sitting around with Matt Fantastic and Trish over at Elm City Games. It's in Connecticut. He's a serial game designer. He's awesome. But we were late night playing Dude and some other games and having an awesome time. It's a super simple game, but just super fun, just really easygoing party game. You're just basically saying "dude." It sounds
in
weird,
multiple
but
inflections,
all you do is say
right?
"dude" in the game. But we were discussing like how awesome was it? Whoever designed this game, it's so simple, like to come up with this design, but it works really well. So sometimes designs are really, really simple.
What's funny is I had a friend who actually told me, I was like, so we don't get a chance to talk very often. How you been this year? And they're like, oh yeah, we know that you're really into games. We got a game for our 13-year-old for Christmas. It's called Dude, and we just play it. We just say dude a lot. It's really funny. And I'm like, dude.
Yeah, we were like, dude.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love it.
It gets crazier the later at night it is, and you know, if you have a couple drinks too,
yes, beverages help.
Game.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I know that you have lots to get ready to do today, and I do as well. So I'm going to say thank you for giving me a few minutes in your crazy day. And I hope that everybody can join us and at least pop by and watch and participate in the comments. I will probably try to watch a little bit of what people are saying, and I love interacting with the audience that's watching. So I'll keep an eye on it for you guys.
Yeah, me too. And that's one of the things I like about moderating too, as well. First of all, as you know, there's a lot of technical issues that go into running the stream with multiple parties. So I was on the panel at Tabletop Network. I was interested in being on the panel, but I felt like we need a full-time person just to moderate. And I don't even know if I'm going to pull it off.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do my best. But I'll also take questions and comments from the comments. So,
absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you. I'll see you later. And thanks for having me on.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Me, I wasn't sure if I'm live, so I didn't want to say anything.